another edition of the Sports Take podcast. I'm your host, Nick Odell, and with me, as always, is two trusted comrades, Mr. John Donnelly and Mr. Joe Gentile, sporting the Buccaneers hat. Guys, how's it going tonight?
Not bad. Not bad. Happy Friday. It's February. It's Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yep, Super Bowl weekend. And joining us for the special Super Bowl episode is Mr. Alex Pompey. Alex, how's it going tonight?
Another day in paradise, bro. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing splendid today. And because, hey, it's Friday. It's Friday night. And we're ready to get things rolling here. So, with that being said, we'll go right into the interesting fact. Well, actually, not the interesting fact, but we're going to do a couple on this day posts. So on this day in 2006, a couple Super Bowl on this day. So on this day in 2006, the Steelers beat the Seahawks 21-10 to win Super Bowl 40.
Seems like that was yesterday. Seems like it's hard to believe it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
It's definitely like a long time ago, it seems like, but also on this day in 2017, the New England Patriots completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, if not the Super Bowl history of all time, defeating the Atlanta Falcons 34-28 in overtime, coming back from a 28-3 deficit. If you're a Falcons fan out there, I'm sorry, but we had to mention it on air.
Don't lie, Nick. You're not sorry.
No, we're not sorry. No, we'll take banner 5 and then banner 6 2 more years later. I'm okay with that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
28-3.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so moving right along here to some discussion portion. Shall we start with NBA or should we dive right into Super Bowl?
I kind of want to talk NBA. I feel like Super Bowl, save the best for last. Like we're going to talk plenty Super Bowl. I mean, we got the hat to support it, but let's talk some Nets. Let's talk some Nets, some Philly, and some do that.
Yeah, so like the Brooklyn Nets, are they doing any better after the big trade? Obviously, we saw, James Harden go to the Nets to join Durant and Kyrie, so now they have their own big three. Do you see the Nets starting to gel a little bit? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts?
I don't know. It's kind of too early to tell, but at the same time, you look at the record. I think they're 7-3 since they got the big three, and then the Houston Rockets are 6-3. I think is what I saw, and so they're kind of pretty balanced after the trade. So I think it was a fair trade overall. But with Durant, Harden, and Kyrie, they're putting up 140 points a night. I mean, that team, their offense is outstanding. It's the defense that's the problem. They're giving up like 130 a night, and that's not going to win them a championship. That's not going to get done. So if they can tighten up the loose ends, I think they can go far. They have a lot of talent in the East, though. You look at Philly, you look at Celtics aren't going anywhere, Milwaukee. But I think the Atlantic Division overall is probably the toughest division. I know divisions don't really count too much in basketball compared to other sports. But at the same time, the Nets look good. I could see them in the Eastern Conference Finals with all that talent.
Yeah, and, I just want to touch base on that. Any trade like this, they're going to have time to, try to gel together. But, like I keep saying, the Nets, even from the beginning of the year without Harden, I said about the Nets is that they're going to be scary good this year. And after the James Harden trade, the Nets might, run away with the number 1 seed down the road. I mean, Donnelly or Pomp, any thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think it depends if they can still mesh well together. I think Kyrie is a loose cannon in a sense of, are you going to get him for the whole year of him being as great as he's been?
Right.
Because I know that he said, I needed to take a mental break, which he did, and he's been playing outstanding since. But can he hold that up for the rest of the year? And I think that's a big factor that goes into it. I feel like if you lose him, that's, you're not beating, anyone in the finals without him.
Right. No, I mean, Kyrie's such a big aspect to that team. And the fact that he took off the time he needed, great. And then he came back and has really been putting up good numbers. I mean, the rest really benefited from him. I mean, Donnelly, you're a Philly fan. Are you scared about the Nets?
I am a little bit. They got a lot of talent together, and like you said, if they can do better on defense, I think they could be a huge powerhouse. But it really just comes down to their chemistry and how they work as a team, whether they, make a system out of their playing, or if they make the team around them. And I was reading about this that Nash is trying to mix kind of those two concepts to try to build a team. So I think it's a little early on to really see their potential because there's a lot more games left that they need to work on playing together and see how well they do. But I am a little scared with that kind of talent. It's definitely gonna be a threat come playoffs.
Yeah, Donnelly. And speaking of your Sixers, I mean, they sit atop the Eastern Conference. Any quick thoughts about that?
Well, I've seen Embiid has been putting up quite a lot of points each game, pretty much leading the team almost every single game. It kind of seems they're a little shaky on defense because a lot of the games are super close. There's not any really big wins unless you're, playing some, lesser teams. But any of the bigger teams, I mean, I know they had that big win over the Lakers last week, but everything's just been so close. It's, they need to step it up a little bit more, especially get some of those shooters getting more points, but also playing good defense to keep those points down the other end.
I mean, Embiid is a MVP caliber player this year. I mean, he's putting up fantastic numbers. Him and LeBron, I feel like, are the front runners for the MVP. And granted, it's only been a month of the season, 2 months. It's early. But at the same time, Philly being on top of the East, that's pretty good. When you look at the home record for them, I believe they only have 1 or 2 home losses and no crowds, no anything. So it's neutral site, quote unquote. But with Doc Rivers as the new coach, they look pretty good. And they finally may have a coach to, be able to tame Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. There was always talks for years that you have to trade one or the other. Well, now they seem to be working out pretty well. And Ben Simmons is actually hitting threes here and there. That was a big joke, big meme on Facebook. I mean, that Ben Simmons can't hit a three. Well, now he's producing. And Joel Embiid might be a MVP if LeBron doesn't get it so far in the season. But Philly's a team to contend with. I picked Philly last year for the finals, and that fell flat. And I don't want to pick them this year just yet because you set the bar high and they don't seem to really reach that bar in years past. And has their window closed now that the Nets got better, now that the Celtics are growing as a team and the team chemistry is growing. Jalen and Jason Tatum and Brown have a tight connection, another year under their belt. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Pop, what do you think?
Oh God. Well, like you were saying, like the East is just kind of, it's like a stacked powerhouse right now. I think the season's way too early to tell, who you could see in the finals. But yeah, I mean, the way that Philly's been playing, I mean, I wouldn't count them out at that point.
Yeah. Like all I want to say to put a bow on this mini topic is, when you have Doc Rivers as your coach, good things tend to happen. I mean, you have an experienced coach who's keeping the team, consistent in their games. And, I think that contributes to part of the 76ers success, like all their coaches in the past have not really been keeping the team consistent, and Doc Rivers has certainly done that. So we'll see what happens to the Sixers down the road to see if they maintain that top spot. Now, the final, topic in this NBA discussion real quick is the Celtics. Celtics have been, they lost to Lakers, and they're on this difficult road trip here. Although they won against the Warriors. What?
They got Clippers tonight. Clippers are not.
Clippers.
They look
Yeah,
good.
Clippers. Yeah, Clippers are a good opponent. But they're iffy. But like, let's start with you, Joe. I mean, any thoughts on the current state of the Celtics?
I mean, they had their issues with COVID. They had their issues, on a road trip. Like you said, they beat the Warriors. That's a great win. They lost to the Lakers though by 1 at home. We're playing the tough teams close, but we just can't seem to close them out. And I don't know if it's Marcus Smart taking too many shots at the end or Tatum not having just the confidence just yet, because he can take it to another level, I feel like. I don't know. And Brown's been having a career year. You look at his shooting percentage, his points per game. I mean, his 3-point average. He's up in every category. But having Kemba hurt, they have to bring him back slowly because I don't want him hurt in the playoffs. So I'd rather have him miss now than later. But it's too early. You can have these teams jump out to a huge lead in the East, but then there's a lot more pressure on them. The Nets, the 76ers. Celtics, I'm okay with them floating around the 3-4 seed, 5 seed right now, having them gel later on, maybe in March, get going in April, stuff like that. It's a long season. I know it's a shorter season, grand scheme of things, because it's 72 games this year instead of 82. But they have time. If it was the back end of the season, I'd be a little worried. But we're not even at the All-Star break, which I want to get to the All-Star game, my final thoughts. But I would want to see the Celtics pick it up each game, not so much hit a switch and have them go kind of thing.
Yeah, and just want to touch up on the season format. Remember, we have the first half of the season schedule set. The second half of the season schedule will come out at a later date. So we'll see who the Celtics play in the second half of the season. But yeah, the Celtics, they're just they're going through a slide right now, and this is typical during the season. But like, again, it's like you said, Joe, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's a long season. Just grind it out, and I think good things will happen. But again, come playoffs is when I'm really gonna watch and see how this team is. Because they can do fine, like I keep saying, I'm sounding like a broken record, but the regular season we always do well. The Celtics always do well.
I don't know if I'm scared of one team though. I hate to admit it, probably Philly, because Philly has been around longer. I mean, Donnelly, you're a Sixers fan, unfortunately, but I mean, how do you see the Celtics versus Philly kind of matchup?
I mean, right now I think Philly's going to come on top each time. But as the season progresses, because it seems as though there's a little bit of a chemistry issue for the Celtics right now. It just seems that they're not really playing together as much. There just seems a lot of kind of backlash and pointing fingers and things like that. So if they can kind of get it together, I think it would be quite the matchup come maybe the second half of the season or maybe towards the playoff runnings. But right now, I don't really see too much of an issue for Philly against Boston right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Pop, any final thoughts about the Celtics real quick before we move on to hockey?
No, I kind of, I definitely agree with you guys where like they're just, I guess the best way to put it is they're not consistent so far, and it kind of sucks to, see the games that they're losing because they're only losing by like a point.
Yeah.
So it's like, at least they're hanging with them, but come playoff time or, when the second half of the season's coming in, you need to make that push. You don't want to be losing those games by 1. So, but again, long season and, hopefully they mesh it out and figure it out by then. So, when 1 point's on the line, it's favoring the Celtics and not, another team per se.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens to the Celtics later on the season. So yeah. moving on to hockey. These next few topics sort of intertwine. The Flyers and the Bruins are playing tonight right now. But let's talk about how they're doing right now. Both tied for first with 16 points, but the Bruins listed first due to less losses, only one less loss. So a kind of little discrepancy there because the whole because of COVID related issues and all that. Guys, any thoughts on the Bruins from Joe and Pop as opposed to Donnelly's Flyers? What his thoughts are. So, we're gonna make this real simple. So, Donnelly, we'll start with you with the Flyers. Talk your thoughts.
Well, I mean, they're pretty hot this season. They've been doing very well. Their losses though are not good though. They usually go up and somehow they get they lose from behind. So I feel like their defense is a little slacking, especially when it comes to a time crunch. Losing overtime to the Bruins the other day was not a pretty sight after being up 3-1 with only what was that? I think 15 minutes left or 7 minutes left in the third.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys loved it. So our losses are pretty terrible, but aside from that, offensively, we're doing really well. We're in the top 10 for scoring leaders. They're doing well. We just need to keep up that offensive push and pick up on defense right now.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's game, to update everybody, it's 0-0, second period, about 12 minutes to go. And I mean, this is a game for first place. I know it's early in the season, but with the new divisions too and everything, Bruins, Flyers, Caps all have 10, 11 wins, and even the Penguins too. I mean,
and you also have to think of the shortened season too. There's only 50 something games. I mean, so pretty much every game counts right now.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, you add more pressure to the earlier games. It's not just waiting around for the second half of the season. That the big games like tonight could play a factor down the road. Because we have the head-to-head, like you said, the last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was, and seeing these 2-game stretches at the same arena, I like them. I don't actually mind them. I know with COVID, they're not traveling as much, and that's why they're doing them with more games back-to-back in the same arena. I kind of like it. Also, this division, though, man, oh man, is it tough, though, because you look at Ovechkin with the Capitals and Crosby with the Penguins, and you have Flyers, like you mentioned, they got the firepower to put up 3 goals a game. Right now, we're holding them scoreless. There's been a ton of power plays. Me and you were watching the game before, talking about it, and it's very back and forth. So we both have 16 points. I'm scared of the Capitals and Penguins. Like half this division could win the President's Cup. I mean, it's that simple.
I mean, it's one of the closest divisions in the league right now. I mean, there's only a 6-point difference between everyone except for the Islanders.
Right.
So, I mean, the only division that's better than that is the Central. But still, I mean, 6-point difference, even in any length of season, is pretty small. So it's going to be quite a fight for this division.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the Central, you have the Lightning and Blue Jackets on top of it. Lightning are always in it. They're defending champs. No surprise there. But just the Eastern Conference in general, oh my God, is it tough this year. And to have the Bruins come out of the East, I don't think anyone's really anticipating that, but it's a great start for them. I mean, Pop, what are your thoughts about the early season success?
Well, honestly, one thing that has been kind of blowing my mind is Tuukka. Honestly, because so many people were like, "Get him out of Boston, get him out. We don't want him." Especially after they advanced around without him last year in the bubble. But yeah, I just for so far with him, he seems like he's been, I guess you could say he heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he took that personally, and like he seems like he's playing a lot better than he has been. So.
Right. Absolutely. And with the Bruins, I mean, with Tuukka, he left the bubble. I mean, he left the bubble, and I'm still ticked about that because he left us out to be eliminated in the first round. And we did better than people thought, fine. But the first 3 games, we'd lost the top seed. And people are like, all right, maybe we'll be okay with the 4 seed. We advanced, but then we got smoked. And it's with Tuca, would we have made the Eastern Conference Finals? We were 100-point winners last year. People forget that. So I think, and we lost Chara to now a division rival with the Capitals. And the Caps are right in it. And Chara scored against us last game we played against the Caps. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any of these teams in the playoffs. I mean, Nick, to put a bow on it, what do you think?
Yeah, it should, so like all you guys said, it should be really interesting down the road to see who comes out on top of the East, and especially that division. I mean, that whole Atlantic division, I believe it's what it's called. Although I do want to point out one thing. So one thing that the Bruins, or one thing that Bruins fans will miss this year is the Bruins Canadiens rivalry, just because of the division alignment and all the teams in Canada in one division that have to play each other. So
hey, but to that point, Nick, we could get Canadiens Bruins Stanley Cup final, and boy, oh boy, I would love that. I would.
Yeah, it's true.
Bruins versus Claude. I would want Bruins and Canadiens, Montreal and Boston. Oh my God. Sign me up for 7.
I would definitely watch that. Pomp, you were gonna say something.
Oh no, I was just saying I would watch that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I believe, to put a bow on it, let's see what happens to hockey the rest of the way. Moving right along to baseball, the last topic before we go into NFL and Super Bowl talk. Big trade happened that happened this past week.
Actually, it happened today. This was actually within the past couple hours.
Yeah, actually, it's true. A good catch there, Donnelly. There was a big trade happened today, but it was was a signing, right, Joe?
Yeah, it was a signing. He was a free agent. He was on the Reds last year. He won the Cy Young. A lot of teams wanted him. Dodgers, Mets.
Yep, and
there was a big fight with the Mets and the Dodgers on who was going to get him. Thankfully,
and
the
this
Dodgers got him.
person's name is Trevor Bauer, and he went to the Los Angeles Dodgers. 3-year, $102 million deal.
Wow.
Guys, any thoughts on this? Anybody?
He's making
winning it all.
He's making $40 million a year for the first 2 years.
It's crazy.
That's insane. And no one heard of Trevor Bauer 2 years ago.
Nope.
Yeah.
But now he's joining the Dodgers with however many signings they've had in the past 2 or 3 years now that have just been huge.
Well, hey, it's Los Angeles. I mean, their payroll, their payroll and luxury taxes through the roof right now.
The rich got richer. I mean, that's they're world champs. They just
are they
added
the new
Cy Young.
Yankees after the past, from a few decades ago, just buying all their talent,
seems like
buying all their wins.
Seriously.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, he had a great year last year. No disregarding that. He played on the Reds team though. That wasn't even close to the playoffs, I believe. So now he'll be in a division that the Dodgers have owned the past decade, and he'll be able to get a chance at a World Series ring, a legitimate chance. Yeah. So the Padres are probably their biggest competition in the NL West. But now look at their starting rotation. You have David Price, you have Kershaw, you have Bauer, you have, a couple other players who are just aces. They could be aces on bring them to the Red Sox. Any one of those teams, any one of those players will be an ace on the Sox.
This reminds me of the pitching staff that the Nationals had in the past, even dating back further to the Astros in the late 2000s or early 2010s. I mean,
right.
This is a scary pitching staff for the Dodgers. I mean, combined with their hitting, I think, I don't know, it's way too early to tell, but just hand the trophy to the Dodgers at this point.
Right.
Let's hope not.
I mean, it seems like it. Pomp or Donnelly, any thoughts?
I agree with you, Nick. that just hand over the trophy to them right now, because I mean, they're stacked, absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, with their hitting and now adding another, more pitching. I mean, with baseball, pitching is like, kind of how quarterbacks are in football. They're huge. Without a good quarterback, you're not going to be that great. Without good pitching, you're going to be like the Phillies. You're just going to suck.
Right.
By adding him, like y'all said, they're just giving them the trophy without even starting the season. It's going to be big for them. I mean, for the sake of them, hopefully, they can play all together and, make a big push like last year, but I hope not.
Yeah. Yeah, and to put a bow on this topic, because I know we got to get to NFL. That's our main discussion point tonight. Yeah, this is just, the Dodgers are like arguably the best team in baseball right now, if not the best team in baseball.
Yeah, no, they're going to make playoffs again. They've made playoffs every year.
I mean, that's a guarantee.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how far they go. They usually choke in the playoffs. They didn't choke last year, so we'll see.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of things could change, and yeah. So moving on to the National Football League. First, we're going to talk about the new coach that the Texans just hired, and how does that affect Deshaun Watson and everything, and the whole saga surrounding him?
What a mess! What a mess down in Houston. I mean, they signed this guy David Culley. Who's David Culley? I mean, nobody's heard of him. It's ridiculous. They couldn't get the guy from Kansas City. You couldn't wait a week to interview the guy who's the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who put up 30 points a game, and you could actually have some offense for Deshaun Watson. No, we don't want to keep Watson. Fine, we'll hire David Culley. We'll be fine with him. Come on.
This must be a major blow to Deshaun Watson.
What a terrible
franchise. I mean, let's be honest. This is they went behind Watson's back again, and now Watson definitely is going to leave the Texans. You're going to watch Deshaun Watson in a different uniform next year. I mean, Donnelly and Pomp, any thoughts?
Well, that's if the Texans get rid of him. Because the Texans are being the Texans, and they're like, no, let's keep him. He wants out, but let's keep him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they're awful. So bad.
They're a terrible excuse for an organization. They really are.
And they've had talent. They had Hopkins. They have what? What are they doing?
So it's like, look at why at the end of the season talking to Deshaun, he was like, we wasted a year. We wasted one of your prime years.
Right. I mean, how do you say that to your quarterback and keep him the next year? You got to get rid of this. Start fresh. You want to trade for Tua?
He needs to go somewhere where he can actually do well.
Yeah, trade for Tua.
Well, not do well, but
do something.
His team can do well, not him. Obviously, he does really well.
Watson could be, I know it's a stretch because he's only been in the league for a few years, could be with the right team a future Hall of Famer. With the right team situation.
His numbers are already Hall of Fame numbers.
Yes.
He just has a crappy team that doesn't play well around him.
He needs a chance at the playoffs. He needs to get there.
He just needs the support of a team that can actually win on defense.
They have to do better than David Culley. I'm sorry. I'm sure the guy's nice. I'm sure he's eligible. Fine, great. But come on. You couldn't do any better. I think he was with Baltimore Ravens last year. And I saw something online that Baltimore Ravens offense, besides Lamar Jackson, was like bottom half of the league. Okay, and you have some talented players on the Baltimore Ravens. They made playoffs for a reason. But what are you going to do when your best receiver now is Will Fuller? I mean, you got to go out and get somebody. You got to have Deshaun Watson have some help. Otherwise, just rebuild. You can get 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. I mean, the price is high. Look at Stafford and Goff. Rams don't have a first-round pick now for like 6 years. I mean, it's insane.
it's definitely something to watch for, like what Deshaun Watson does with his with his trade levy. Yeah, to put a bow on this, I think the Texans, they made they made a bad hire. I think, and we'll see what happens. Like a lot of interesting stuff this NFL offseason. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
The best player, the person that they hired, Nick Caserio, who was a former Patriot.
Yeah,
That's the best guy.
Throw that in there, Joe.
That's the best thing they've done in about 5 years.
Well, honestly, too,
Yeah.
I think with them signing, the head coach for the Texans, I honestly think the mess that Bill O'Brien made, they just heard a coach that wants to go there, and they're like, hired.
Yeah.
Because not many people want to go there. I wouldn't.
No,
That's
I
a
wouldn't
complete mess that Bill O'Brien made for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Watson.
definitely.
I can't blame Watson for wanting to go. Like usually, you don't hear NFL players be like, "Yeah, I want out." Like I just signed this big contract, and I know I love this city, and I was drafted by the city, but no, I want to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a mess that Bill O'Brien created, and now that Nick Caserio has to mop up that mess. Sorry, custodian joke there.
No, I mean it's a matter of, like you said, Pomp, Bill O'Brien, the GM, coach, whatever. I mean, he left such a mess behind because you get rid of your best receiver for who? David Johnson, who hasn't been good 3 years, 2 years. I mean, what did you get in return for that? What benefits the Texans going forward, except a 30-year-old running back?
Exactly, and he's probably going to get cut too because their running game is terrible.
Right. So
they have absolutely no run game. So I'm betting that he's the first one of the people to go that actually doesn't say, "Hey, I want out," but
right,
he'll be one of the people to get cut.
Like everyone's a fan of JJ Watt. He's been a face of the franchise. He's been a class act. Get that man a ring. Get him on a playoff contender. Same with Deshaun Watson.
He already said that he wants out too. Like he didn't specifically say, "I want out of this," but he said that like if I'm not competing for a ring, I don't want to I don't want to be on a team that's rebuilding.
Right. I can't blame him.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, hey, we'll see what happens to the Texans. But meanwhile, just to mention really, really quick about the Eagles and Carson Wentz. We all know that Wentz is probably most likely definitely going to get traded at some point in the offseason. Some logistical teams that are that are landing spots for Wentz, the Bears, the Colts, the Panthers, the Patriots, and the Texans. With Wentz's big contract, he's set to make $25.4 million total cash next season. That's the third highest among QBs in 2021. Whichever team he ends up on, more than $30 million dead cap hit they'll take. So, yeah, it's kind of a risk reward sort of thing.
That's why it's not really confirmed yet, just because that whole cap issue is it's such a problem.
It's insane. But we'll see what happens in Philly.
I would take him on the Pats. I'd take a flyer on him.
I will say this though, not to go too deep into this. I will say I think with the right team, he'll do well because I think, yes, he has some playing issues, but I think half the reason is something internal with the Eagles organization, and that's partially why he was doing poorly. But like I said, not to go too in depth, but I think if he's in the right organization, I think like half those issues will pretty much disappear. And maybe with a little bit of coaching, maybe a different play scheme, he might actually do very, very well because he has the potential.
I mean, Pomp, would you want him on the Pats?
No, not to be mean towards him in any way, shape, or form. I think with Wentz, I said it in the group chat earlier, I think he holds on to the ball a little too long. And I think with the Patriots offense, if they keep it the same, which under Belichick's, mindset, they probably will, and just say, here's a pile of garbage, work with it. He would hold on to that ball for 35 seconds if he could.
Right, but I look at the situation like we mentioned: Bears, Indy, Carolina, Pats, and Houston. Those 5 teams. We'll do a top 5 real quick. What coach out of those 5 would be able to put Wentz in the right direction? It would be Belichick and McDaniels out of those 5.
I do think it would be
Yes.
the coaching staff, but they're also, I think they showed that they can't make a mediocre if I could speak today, they can't make a mediocre quarterback great. We thought they could do it with Cam, and Cam's throwing it into the dirt like that was his job.
Right.
Honestly, I think his best bet is to go to Indy.
I think
Because
that's
I think
I agree with you too on that one.
because I think like they made Phillip Rivers look amazing there. When he was balling out, he was balling.
Indy's a quarterback away from a Super Bowl run. I mean,
Exactly.
they made playoffs. I mean, people forget they made it as a 7 seed and lost to the Bills, who were a 2 seed. I mean, Indy could really compete, and they were like a play away. People forget from winning that division, the AFC South, because Titans almost choked it away. So
Yeah.
I think though that you look at the landscape of the NFL and how many moving parts, how many moving quarterbacks could be in the league. We've already seen 2 on the move with Goff and with Stafford. I can't imagine how many more dominoes are going to fall.
Yeah, I just don't think the Bears are an option. Carolina's kind of iffy, and Houston's got too many issues of their own.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at the Bears; they keep trying to pull and bring in anybody and everybody, and nobody does anything there.
Right.
Yep.
And then, like you said, Alex, Indy, making Phillip Rivers look great. Like I said before, Wentz just needs some coaching, needs to just work on not holding onto the ball, and then a couple, work on his decision making. Those are his biggest issues.
I think he's
with
good
the
with
right coaching, you can fix that. It's just not going to happen in Philly. And like you guys said, the Pats coaching staff doesn't have a good track record in fixing.
I just think with the Pats, though, I think taking a veteran, I know he's only been in the league a few years with Wentz, but compared to drafting a young kid, I don't think Belichick wants a rebuild. I don't think he wants to take a rookie and be here 3-4 years and see if it works out then. I want a quarterback who's proven now, and Wentz did have a couple good years under him until this previous year. So I think under the right system, potentially he could be. Because who else are we going to get? Jimmy G? Okay, fine. I'd rather Jimmy G than Wentz or other quarterbacks out there that could be free agents. Dak Prescott, hell, I'll take absolutely, I'll pay that man. But I know he's not going to fall to us, and we have to be realistic. And it's Stafford was a kind of a floating idea, and as Stafford is in LA, he got furthest away from Boston he could have been. So it's a matter of who else is going to be available at that time. I don't know about drafting a quarterback. 15th overall is going to be the future. That's why maybe you go after Wentz.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens in Philly. I mean, this should be an interesting off season. Like many factors.
I mean, it just keeps developing so fast.
Yeah,
with what's going on, and their new coaching is really pushing this along.
Right.
But before we get to the off season, there's still one more game that has to be played here, and that is
what game is that, Nick?
Super Bowl 55, Donnelly.
That's
Super
not
Bowl
the Pro Bowl.
Hey, the Pro
I
I thought we were on Super Bowl 47.
The Pro Bowl celebration happened last week.
Did anyone watch that? Did anyone honestly watch the celebration?
I watched it for like 5 minutes and on
I didn't
Twitter.
even know they're even airing that.
And I was like, what are they doing? And then, because I think it was to the point where Snoop Dogg he had the controller in his hand. And I was like, I don't know what I'm watching, and I'm all set.
Yeah, so
I didn't even see any advertisements for it being televised, or even
No, I didn't.
None of the sports networks even mentioned it.
Well, they said it was going to be on ESPN, but I couldn't find it on there, so I watched it on Twitter Live.
So weird.
All right. Well,
I think they just need to get rid of the Pro Bowl because it's just useless.
You know what they need to do?
Completely useless.
As much as we can talk all we want about the Pro Bowl, which isn't saying much, let's dive right into the Super Bowl, shall we?
Nick, hold on. I got one.
About before what?
Go for
it. I got one thing about the Pro Bowl. Hear me out. They need to do it the week after the season. Remember, like back in the day when they did it, where they did the Super Bowl in a week and then the Pro Bowl the following week, so the people that played in the Super Bowl can play in the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
Bring that back.
Well,
That actually might help it.
It's a
I
free
think
trip.
it'd bring in ratings.
It's a free trip to Hawaii for the players.
well, Orlando.
Well, the thing about it is it like Alex said, it allows all the players
Yeah.
that made it to play, but it is more for fun than people trying to not get injured for the Super Bowl.
I guess. I mean, I want the skills competitions back. Those were fun. The longest throw, the tire,
That
throw
was
it through a
probably the best
tire, the running. You know, the competitions. Those are fun. The best hands. You know, those are fun.
All right. Well,
that's why it needs to be after the Super Bowl.
All right.
Well, here's the thing. We gotta, we gotta talk Super Bowl here before we get into the Super Bowl prop bets. Okay.
Yeah, prop bets.
So first we're gonna do keys for the Chiefs, and the keys for Tampa, and then we're gonna do winners.
Winner
For-
take all.
We're gonna predict our winners after that. So, keys for the Chiefs, starting with let's say Donnelly.
They need to bring the heat on offense, and defense, because they need to get past Tampa's defense, but they also need to stop Brady. So they need to work on getting Tyreek the ball. They need to rush it, big combinations on both of those, and then they need to contain Brady and stop him from passing the ball, because I don't see their rushing being their top offensive move. So if they can stop Brady from passing, that should help them push them into a big enough lead that they can sit comfortably and win the Super Bowl.
Joe.
I think there's multiple aspects that you could pick, but I think the biggest one for me is for the Chiefs, the running game. We all know Patrick Mahomes is a former MVP, former Super Bowl MVP, yada, yada. His list is great. But I think, though, the running game with the kid from LSU, the rookie, or Le'Veon Bell could get some touches, could really open up the game for Patrick Mahomes. Their Bucs defense is going to guard the pass majority because Mahomes can throw it behind his back or one-handed or two-handed. I mean, whatever he can do, he's a great quarterback, and people know that. So they're going to probably blitz him quite a bit, or they're going to try to do what they did in week 12, which is cover Tyreek Hill, and that didn't work out for them because they had 200 yards in the first quarter. So they're going to have to mix it up somehow. The Chiefs, though, like I said, open up with the run game. I feel like the run game could really control the clock for them. And we've seen how Mahomes, if he has the clock advantage, then he can win a game like that. He can put up points quickly, or he can maneuver down the field and take up 10 minutes off the clock at a time. We've seen that happen. So I think, though, with the running game, that's the biggest thing. I do want to jump ahead to my Tampa thoughts just because I'm wearing the Tampa hat. It's obviously Brady. We know this. But I think with the tight end, Bray is hurt. So Gronk has to step up. Bray has been having back hurting this past week. So he's going to be limited. I think Gronk, whether blocking or catching down the field, we saw Gronk come up big in Super Bowl 53. I think 2 years later, if he has a big game with Brady, they can get it done this year too. But we'll see.
Yeah, and so like also me the keys for the Chiefs and the Bucks. Donnelly, we will get to your keys to the Bucks in a minute, but keys for the Chiefs, real quick. Like Joe said, the running game, but also too, the Kansas City defense, I think, plays a factor too. Against that Tom Brady led offense. I mean, oh boy, I think we'll get to the picks in a minute, but I think this can be a high scoring affair. But the keys for the Chiefs right now, primarily, I think, is the defense. I think Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, has a lot on his plate, handling the Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the Buccaneers,
Spagnuolo's 3-2 against Brady in the playoffs.
Yes,
I mean, he has a winning record against Brady.
not a lot of people realize that. And so so if there's any defensive coordinator who could who knows Brady that well, it's Spagnuolo. On Tampa's side, I think it's also their defense. Stopping Mahomes. What is defensive coordinator Todd Bowles have drawn up for Mahomes? It'll be really interesting to see come Sunday about the Buccaneers defense. If they can contain Mahomes and all his weapons that they have. Like I said, this is going to be a shootout. We'll get to the picks in a minute, but Donnelly, what are your Bucks keys real quick to success?
So I don't think they have much issue on offense. I think everybody knows that, especially for you New England fans, with Brady being very much a lot better player when it comes to playoffs, under pressure, things like that. You just look at his track record with 6 rings. He's done something. He's successful. He's proven it this season, bringing the Bucks to their first Super Bowl in quite a few years. So I don't think they have any issue on offense. But like you said, Nick, stopping Mahomes, keeping Tyreek Hill under wraps, if they can shut that down and force them to run it, which they've had some issues here and there throughout the season, that's their key to winning. They need to bring their defense out. They need to cover Hill and make sure that they stop that run. And they should have that in the bag. Maybe even it could be a blowout if they do that. You never really know. Brady is a whole nother level especially in the Super Bowl, aside from a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be tough for either defense to contain the opposite offense. Pomp, real quick, your keys for the Chiefs and the Bucks. Starting with the Chiefs.
Oh, geez. Chiefs, I think they need to hit Brady. I think they need to hit him a lot, sack him. That always gets Brady pissed off. It gets him off his game. Once Brady's irritated, throwing his helmet type of thing because he's getting hit, that's when, he's not playing his best. I think that would, really favor, Kansas City. Offense, I don't think they're going to have any issue. Again, like talking earlier, I think it's going to be first half is going to be all defense because they're going to be trying to figure each other out. Then second half, I think it's just going to be all offense. I think the Hill's going to get open nonstop because it's either you're stopping him or Kelsey. You can't stop both of them. You know what I mean? Or if not, like Watkins is going to get open. Someone is always open on that offense. And then I think for the Bucks, their keys to the game is obviously stopping Mahomes. I think they should blitz him a lot because I forgot the guard's name, but he, I think, was ruled out for the game. So I think they're going to send a lot of blitzers after him. But I think one thing they should do is send Levante David, send him as a spy on Mahomes. Because the second they blitz, Mahomes can escape the pocket and run faster than you can catch him. But if you have David spying him, then at least you can keep him in the pocket in some way, shape, or form and make him actually throw the ball without running around an extra 30 yards.
Yeah, interesting insight there, Pomp. And yeah, guys, this should be a high-scoring game, right? Two of the high-powering offenses in the league. But guys, Super Bowl champ prediction and his final score, starting with Pomp. Go ahead.
Well, I know you said high-scoring game. I'm actually going to go against that. I think it's going to be like 21-17 Bucks.
Okay. Joe. Oh, you want me to go? All right. Well, I'm obviously going with the team on my hat, but I got 35-31 Bucks. I think it is going to be a shootout. Tom's teams in the Super Bowl, they start off slow. You look at the previous 9 Super Bowls he's been in, and they've scored 3 points here, 6 points maybe in the first.
No point in the first quarter.
Yeah, so they start out slow. So I'm with Pomp on this one. It's going to start off slow. I mean, jitters about players not being in the game, and oh my God, it's a Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, I think anybody would have that starstruck effect the first quarter, but then you really get back down to business. People start scoring second, third, fourth quarter. But I think each team could have the potential to put up 30. But I think it's just a matter of who scores touchdowns over field goals. I mean, I think special teams, nobody talks about special teams too. Nobody to the keys to the game mentioned special teams, but who can finish the job in the end zone? Or are they going to send out their kicker? I mean, Bucker for KC is a great kicker. He can hit from 50, no problem. But Tampa, they have the home field advantage. We've never talked about this in any Super Bowl ever, that a home team plays at their home stadium. And it's not going to feel like a home game because I guess they're not doing the cannons. They don't get to fire off the cannons unless they win, which they should be able to fire the cannons, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I think though that Bucks though they're on this magical run. You see Brady determined. It's typical Tom in January and February. I mean, he's made the Super Bowl in half the seasons he's played in the NFL, which is ridiculous. He makes it every other year. So I can see him getting number 7 this year.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thought, Joe. Donnelly, your champion and final score.
So actually, I'm going to call it. It's going to be the first Super Bowl tie in history. Just kidding. Because that doesn't
It's not soccer. It's not football. It's football. Come on.
No. I don't know. It's kind of. It really comes down to the defenses, but I think it's going to be hard for Brady not to come out on top. But unlike you guys, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be really hard to slow down each team. I don't think that it's going to be a struggle on defense, both sides. And I'm thinking of like a 49-52 or 45-52 game. Yeah.
No
He's
defense.
talking like the Monday Night Football game that we had against the Rams and KC a few years ago. Holy cannoli.
I don't know. I just foresee seeing it a huge offensive just shootout, just because the defense is just not slowing them down, because we all know Mahomes coming off the Super Bowl last year is going to be hot to get in his second Super Bowl win, especially in a row. But then on the other side, you have Brady, who's going for his 7th ring. He's been in more Super Bowls than just about anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, those two alone, those are huge factors for both teams. I see it being a big shootout. I don't see it being, a 2017 game kind of thing.
With your prediction, Donnelly, imagine if a team scores 7 touchdowns and loses with 49 points. I mean,
right?
That's unbelievable.
So, my prediction.
It happens in the regular season. What's saying that it's not going to happen in a Super Bowl?
Wait, Nick, can I predict yours? Nick,
Go ahead.
2-0.
No, you're way off. I think the Bucks will come out top. I'm picking Tampa Bay in this game. I think both teams will start off slow, pick things up, slow back down, and then pick things up right at the end. I think
it's going to be a 5-2 game, right?
Offense, defense, special teams play a factor. This is going to be a wild one, folks. I'm having Tampa Bay winning 44-38.
Ooh.
And as an added bonus, this will be the first game in double overtime.
Oh, yikes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's just a bonus. That's just a bonus. I'm picking.
So we're gonna have a show.
It's not unlikely for that to happen.
So we're gonna have a show next week, and we'll be able to see how wrong all of our picks are. It's probably gonna be like a 10-7 game. We're just gonna be that far off.
If that is, that'll be the biggest letdown.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Super Bowl 2 years ago, it was 13-3 final. Pats Rams.
That's what I was just gonna say. Wasn't there one within the past 5 or so years, that was just everybody was like, "What the heck did we just watch?"
I mean, we enjoyed the outcome. Me, Pomp, and Nick, we
Yeah.
enjoyed the outcome of that game.
So moving
6-1.
right along to prop bets. Joe, you have
Prop bets.
prop bet list pulled up, I'm assuming.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course I do. I love prop bets. Things are
So Joe's gonna list off a prop bet, and we're each gonna give our bet on it, basically.
okay. So Super Bowl MVP. So you got Mahomes as the favorite, then you got Brady, you got Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans. Who's your guys? We're just gonna do these kind of relatively quick, no reasons behind it, whatever. If you don't want, who's your Super Bowl MVP?
I got to go with Brady here. I know
Okay.
questions asked.
I think it depends on who wins. If it's Bucks, I'm taking Brady. If it's Chiefs, I'm taking Mahomes.
Okay.
I was just gonna say the exact same thing. It's gonna be the quarterback of whoever wins.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Brady or Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Joe.
Length of national anthem, boys. Give me the over/under at 1:59.
Over.
Really?
Okay, hold on.
Really? I thought it was
Who's singing the national anthem? Because it depends on whether it's male or female.
So Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan are combining to perform the national anthem. And the over/under set a 1:59. The last two was Demi Lovato hitting 203 and Gladys Knight going 201. So both have been over, but not by much.
I'll take over.
Oh, I'm over. Over.
I don't know. It really depends because this is almost like a duet between a male and female, and the only reason why I'm saying that is that females tend to elongate their the words. So I'm gonna say that it's gonna be under.
Okay. Nick.
Just because it's a duet and they do something like flashy and they do something like beautifully composed and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna take the over. Next one.
All right, coin toss. Heads or tails? Oh, people bet millions on this. We laugh. Wait a minute.
I know they do.
Yeah, I got tails. Tails never fails.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with tails.
Okay,
I'll go with heads.
all right. Next,
Go against the pack.
Here's a fun one. Who will be shown first on TV during the national anthem? Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes? And Brady is favored at -160.
Oh my god!
Wait, are you talking about during the game or before the game?
National anthem during the national anthem. Who is shown first on the field? You know how they do cameras? They do the coaches, the quarterbacks, maybe a kicker. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady? Who's shown first?
Mahomes.
I have to go Brady here because knowing Fox camera angles and everything, like
it's on CBS.
Yeah, it's on CBS. CBS hates Brady.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Mahomes.
Okay, Brady is favored again, so keep an eye out for that. All right, how many players will have a passing attempt? So the over/under is 2.5.
So we're saying that somebody other than Brady or Mahomes is gonna
Correct.
throw a pass.
I got like a Philly.
Yeah, Philly special. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. So
I think Antonio Brown throws one.
Ooh. Okay.
What about Tyreek Hill tossing one up to Mahomes?
Yeah, I could see Kelsey tossing one. So we're over.
I think honestly, I would go over because I think they would do that to Brady just to throw it in his face.
Yep.
Type of thing.
Yeah, bring out the whole Philly special thing without saying it's the Philly special.
The KC special.
Stupid Philly special. Nick, what you got?
You want to go Kansas?
You know what? Everybody's on the over. I'm going to take the under. It's just going to be a plain Jane game.
Okay. Over under. So how many times will Giselle be shown on the broadcast? Over under is 1.5. 1.5.
Wow.
I'm going over.
What's a half?
I'm going to go over, especially if he scores or if he throws a lot of touchdowns. It's going to be over.
Over? I'll take the under. I'll take the under.
I'll go over because they always show her if he wins.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The more touchdowns he throws, the more they're going to show her.
Okay, so I'm the only one under. You guys are over for the times on Giselle Bundchen on the TV. But here's a fun one. How many times will the chains be used for measurement? The over-under is 1.5. How many times the chain's coming out, boys?
Over. Definitely over.
Over.
It's gonna be over. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to make every call correct.
I'd say under, unless Henny comes in.
Fair. That's fair. All right, next. Who will score the first touchdown? You have Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. The favorites at plus 500.
Oh, we're talking player, not team.
Yeah, well, you can go team if you want. Who will score first? It doesn't say. I'm okay. It says Kansas City players will score first. So KC or New England. New England.
Hear me
KC
out.
It really
Tampa.
depends on who wins the toss or who receives the ball first.
Okay, so
I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, whoever receives the kickoff is going to score first.
All right.
I wouldn't. I don't think. I think it's going to be a 3 and out. Honestly, to begin the game.
It's gonna be slow.
Who scores first? So hear me out, but I think Fournette.
Ooh. Okay.
I think they go rushing right off the bat to throw him off.
You got Tampa.
Oh, I think Brady to Gronk.
Ooh, so Tampa. KC's offense is unbelievable, and they were just there last year. So I think it's going to be a little slow starting for Tampa, but I think KC could get off to a lead. So I'll go with KC.
But also KC has been slow. You know what I mean? Like they played outstanding in the championship game, but besides that, like they've been kind of iffy. So I think if you can slow them down, you can definitely slow them down.
Okay, no, that's true. That's true. All right. What color will the first liquid that is poured on the game-winning coach? What color is the Gatorade?
It's gonna be orange.
Orange is the favorite, with red close second.
I'm gonna say red.
Okay, so we got 2 red, a blue. I guess I'll go red because both teams are red, but I don't know. I want something fun like a purple. Show me a grape drink.
Yeah, but then have you ever seen purple in a football game? No.
Oh yeah, Vikings haven't won in a while, so no.
Who even likes purple?
Hey, I'm just throwing out the colors here. All right. So, oh wow, they really dive into. So if Bucks win the coin toss, what will happen? Defer or receive? Like they really go deep into this. Oh, here we go. Which Anheuser-Busch brand commercial will air first? Bud Light Seltzer, Michelob, or Michelob Ultra?
Wait, say that again.
Budweiser wasn't doing a.
Budweiser's not doing it.
Okay, so no, I know that's why Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, I thought you said Budweiser.
Budweiser is not doing it this year, but Bud Light Seltzer, Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer.
Bud Light Seltzer.
I'm gonna go Bud Light.
I'm just gonna go plain Bud Light.
Bud Light, pop with the Bud Light Seltzer. Okay.
Bud Light, all right.
Will M&M Spokes Candy be wearing a mask? What kind of questions are these? Yes or no?
It's crazy.
I'll take it.
All right. Who will speak first? So apparently Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are in a Fritos commercial. So who will speak first? Peyton?
What?
Hopefully neither.
I can't make these questions up. I'm serious. Peyton is the favorite.
Oh my god. People actually bet on the intricacies of commercials.
Oh God.
Donnelly,
Yes.
it's America. We'll bet on anything.
Hey man.
I mean that's fair. I bet on a lot worse things than that, but
All right, can we wrap a bow on this? This is getting ridiculous.
All right.
no, this is getting good.
Total number.
Yeah,
Donnelly wants more and Nick wants it to stop.
I want more. These are great.
All right. So
This
will
is
there be
hilarious.
will there be a COVID vaccine commercial? The odds are no.
Oh, 100% yes.
Okay. Well, you're taking the underdog then. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take the yes too.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Total
think
Too
number.
much going on this year with that.
Here's a
They'll throw
fun
in
one.
COVID anywhere they could.
Here's a fun one. You guys might have to do a little math here, though. Total number of commercials aired during the Super Bowl. The over-under is 92.5.
Well, if you think about it, most commercials are 30 seconds, and you have about 2.5 minutes worth of commercials. So that's what 2, 3, or
Look at
4,
Donnelly doing
5 commercials per commercial break. So it's a lot of commercial
I'm
breaks,
going
though.
slightly over.
You going
Depends.
over?
When do the commercials start? Like after kickoff or?
I'm going to say the 3.5 hour window, 6:30 to 10.
It usually
I
starts
would
after. I think it starts after kickoff.
Okay.
If it's after kickoff, I would maybe go under.
I'm going slightly over.
Slightly. 93 commercials, Nick.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go over. I think it's really
Over.
easy to hit that.
Let's hope the commercials go over and hope for like a Super Bowl 47-esque game where like the whole stadium blacks out.
Lights out.
Lights out.
All right, here's a fun one. So, who will be the MVP? Who will the MVP of the Super Bowl refer to first in his speech? You know how the Super Bowl MVP
God.
always gives a speech and he credits a lot of people. But who will be first? Teammates, God,
Coach.
America, the winning city, family, coaches, or team owner. All of these are in the running, and the favorite is teammates that they want to thank first.
You know what? If Tom Brady's the MVP, I'm going family.
Okay.
And if Patrick Mahomes is MVP, I'm going to go Kansas City.
Okay.
Like, the Kansas City, like, city as a whole.
Yeah, but don't you have Buccaneers winning?
Yeah, but I'm just giving you a scenario for either or.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Tom
city.
Brady.
The city.
Philly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
say the
would say if
players.
it's
Players.
yeah. I would say
I think
especially
either
Mahomes,
one.
he's gonna.
Because if you think about it, Mahomes relies on his players, and Brady just got traded, so he's gonna be thankful that his new team and players came through and bring him there.
Yeah. All right. 3 more. Then we'll wrap this up real quick. Will the MVP say Disney in his speech? Yes or no?
No.
What? No.
The parade's not happening this year, so no.
I force a habit though. I'm going to Disney World, so it's no.
I think they can still go, but I know Disney said that they're not like hosting a parade for everyone to watch them in the Magic Kingdom this year.
Yeah.
No, they're just gonna
So
go to
again-
the. It's all either gonna be in Tampa Bay or it's gonna be in Kansas City.
Yeah. All right. Well, if Brady wins Super Bowl, what are the the yes or no thing? Will he mention New England in his speech?
No, absolutely not.
Not even once?
No, because there's no reason to. It didn't have any effect on him. Is he gonna thank New England for trading him?
The over-under is a half. So if he says new, that's a push.
Oh God.
That's a push. I'm
What
going.
if he says new team?
You take the push. Unbelievable, some of these bets. And finally, the one everyone's looking forward to. Will Andy Reid say burger? Yes or no? No is favored
If he
at minus
wins?
1,500.
If he wins, absolutely. He'll make it a triple this year.
That's terrific.
No. I'm saying no.
That's all he ever thinks about.
Burger. Will he say burger? So we will find out Sunday night. Oh man, oh man. Even if it in a loss at the press conference, he should say burger. I would think he'd say it once.
He'll have a depression burger.
All right. Is that it, Joe?
Yeah, that was your prop bets for Super Bowl 55. I love prop bets.
I love it.
Where can I actually place these?
All right. Before we get
no betting. We don't condone betting on sports take. But if you do, good luck. Just not here.
bet responsibly too.
Yeah. Yeah, what Nick said.
Guess I'm heading to Rhode Island. Maybe I can do it there.
Cannot bet in Massachusetts if you're listening. Other states, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and a few others can. So
Twin Rivers, here I come.
Twin Rivers.
All right.
Get on down to Providence or Newport.
All right. Before we get into final thoughts, Joe or Donnelly, do we have any comments, Joe?
Yeah, we got Pete Gilbert saying, look at these crazy people. We got Ski saying crazy. And we got Terrence Donnelly. He had a couple comments saying Wentz trade is supposed to be imminent, which it looks like it will be. Wentz, I doubt, will be on the Eagles next year. And Filippo, if I pronounce that correctly, his former coach, Chicago, and may thrive again under him like he did in 2017 with the Wentz discussion. I know we talked quite a bit about Wentz. I know Terrence Donnelly, diehard Eagles fan. Somebody on the show is a diehard Eagles fan, maybe the connection. But thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Justin. And thank you, Pete, for your comments. You guys can always like, share, comment, block us. You guys can do whatever you want to the show. Tell us how bad we are, good we are, whatever you want. But we are always taking guests on the show if you want to be on the show. Nick, your final thought probably will have something to do with this. Hintity hint, hint. But going forward, we will be filling spots. So I'll be on the lookout for if you want to be on the show anytime.
They pay good, I can tell you that.
They pay good. 5 cents an hour, and this is an hour show.
All right.
Did I say that out loud?
All right. Moving on to final thoughts. Anybody want to start? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody?
I'll go.
All right.
So people think the big sporting event for this weekend is Super Bowl 55, and they are correct. But there's another big event coming up tomorrow night. Duke, North Carolina. Both teams are bad this year.
Not even that great.
Hold on. Both teams are bad this year. They're separated by 9 miles.
They're not even doing that good this year.
9 miles. They're separated by. But they hate each other. They respect the hell of each other. But it's going to be a great game. They both can suck. They both can have, 1 win, 5 wins. I don't even know their record. All I know is they're both unranked. They're both pretty bad. But, man, is it always fun to watch that game. I can't wait. And Pop
going to be televised.
What?
Is it even going to be televised?
Yeah, ESPN.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Yeah, I'll be watching. And Pop is a Duke fan. I'm a USC fan. So we probably won't talk for a couple hours.
Oh, no, I'll talk to you, but.
Well, you guys are at home, so you guys may have the edge. But it'll be a good game. I always look forward to this time of year. I know everything's topsy-turvy with the season because COVID, and teams have only played 15 games when typically they're at around 30 this time of year, 25.
What time's it on at?
That's at 8 o'clock, I believe. Tomorrow night.
I might be able to catch the second half.
Yeah, so it'll be a good game. Whether you're on one side or the other, whether you're on UNC or the wrong side. I mean, whatever way you want to word it, it'll be fun.
All right,
so,
Pomp, your final thought, Mr. Duke fan over there.
Hey, easy there. What is my final thought? I'm gonna leave it plain and simple, man. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Feels weird because I love Brady, but go Bucks.
Weird. It is weird.
All right, Donnelly, your final thought.
I have no care in the world about the Super Bowl. I'm just enjoying some good teams playing. The only thing, within the news today is I hope that the other 2 Philly teams actually do something this year because they have a chance. Unlike the terrible Phillies and even worse Eagles. And speaking of the Eagles, I won't be mad if Wentz gets traded. I won't even care because we actually have a player that will do something.
It's pretty funny. Your franchise quarterback. No, I don't mind if he leaves.
I really don't. If he stays, he stays. We'll deal with it.
That's funny.
Our backup did way better than he ever did. And if we can just get the rest of our team to stop getting injured and, play together, we might actually have a playoff team again.
Heck, you could be 8-8 and get into the playoffs. So
exactly. But we have the most combinations of offensive line in the entire NFL this year. So the fact that our backup somehow managed to play with that says a lot. So if we can actually give him something to work with, like maybe a wide receiver that can actually receive the ball, which is in the name of the position, someone that can catch, someone that can get open, Yeah, maybe we could actually make the playoffs and be a legitimate team again.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There might be. And we have terrible drafting because our back office sucks so bad. And we just need somebody that can actually draft good people instead of passing up on Metcalf and the other guy. I can't remember his name right now.
All right. Well, my final thought. Well, guys, this might be it for a while.
For you, we'll be back.
Thank
Yeah,
God. I'm glad it's just going to be Joe and I for a while. I'm just kidding, Nick. It's going to be sad to see you go.
Yeah, man.
Starting next week, I'll be working nights, except for one day. That's Wednesday. I work 11 to 7. Breaking news out of that. But
So you could be on next week. We had this big farewell. You were the host of the show, and you could be back. You're like Brett Favre. You just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Next time, I just want to accept you into the call.
Decline.
Yeah. So every Wednesday, I'm out at 7, and then on school vacation weeks, I'm 7 to 3. So it's not like I'm going away, but this.
So Joe, we're having our show on Tuesdays or Thursdays now.
All
All
right,
right,
Nick. No, you've contributed to it a lot to the show, Nick. And if this is your last show, we've appreciated your input and joking around and starting the show back in the beginning of quarantine. So it's been a lot of fun each and every week, and doing the show with Johnny too. I know Johnny hasn't been on the show for a while, but the four of us kind of started this, and it's been a lot of fun. And having various guests. I mean, Pop, we've had Joe Arvison, we've had Gabby, we've had a bunch of people. So it's been a lot of fun.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
Nick. You're always welcome back if we ever can get our schedules to align.
Yeah, definitely. And but also too, my final thought is that like Pomp said, go Bucks. I do not want the Chiefs to win. I do not want the Chiefs to win back to back, honestly. Plus, it's tough to win back to back, but we'll see come Sunday. But guys, Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday, 6:30 on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson have the call from Tampa Bay, from Raymond James Stadium. Make sure to tune in. Should be a lot of fun with Tony Romo predicting all those calls. Then
Best day of the year, my friend.
best day of the year. Hey, it's my national holiday.
Is it though?
I mean, I don't think any of us are going to be moving from the couch anytime soon on Sunday.
Thankfully, I have Sunday off for like the first time in a long time. So
Nice.
There you go. All right. Well, that just about does it for this edition of the Sports Take Podcast. For our special guest, Alex Pompey, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining us. Joe Gentile, usual comrades. I'm Nick Odell. Thanks so long from the comfort of our living spaces. And for that, keep watching sports. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, everybody, early on. Early wishes.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.